Weighing the future. My father weighed heavy, his years shortened. What was my mother to do? Were he to die that night? Her fears of his future weighed heavy, her years alone. He ate beyond his seams, his queer affair with food, this his love true, on mother weighed heavy, the together years shortened. This is what my mother could do. From that tense home, alone she moved west for mountains wild, unknown. Considering the end, she learned a new trade. From that tense home, she debuted herself wage earning, so that in lieu of his death, she could a new life home, free from husband and tense home, and proved she could parade the mountains, wild, alone. This poem, Weighing the Future, is a double triolet. If you don't know what a triolet is, I'll put it in the description down below so you have an idea of kind of what we're talking about. I've modified it a little bit. As you can see in the text of the poem below, a traditional triolet, the lines are exact, and I modified the lines slightly to show progression in the poem. And this poem is a very personal poem to me. My father, throughout his life, struggled with using food as a way to de-stress. And so he ended up, while I lost weight sometimes, ended up being a very, very heavy man who just struggled incessantly with his weight. And so words like my father weighed heavy, his years shortened, you know, people that are obese obviously take the weight will shorten your years, right? Scientifically proven. And I think how many people with addictive behaviors, their partner, especially behaviors like maybe drinking or smoking, drug use, it shortens a person's life. They have to look at what is life going to be like without my partner in the future. And I think I saw quite early on my mother doing stuff like take computer classes at the library, worried that she would be alone and she would have to be able to fend for herself and she would have to be able to get these skills that she didn't have. I think part of it is she really liked learning, but I think there was this other part of it, and I saw this in her. And my father did pass, so I wrote this poem prior to my father passing, but then in 2012, he did pass, and this became very much a reality. Am I able to live life without him? And certainly it's not easy. The emotional pain of losing, of the loss of someone, that's one thing I think my mother still carries with her. But being able to live and survive on her own without him, that was big for someone who grew up in the 50s, got married in the 60s, and was raised in a culture where there was a traditional homemaker who worked at home, and my father was the breadwinner. It was that typical 1950s mentality. It was also very much a Mennonite mentality for my mother, and she had to kind of move beyond that. And so that was a challenge. And so a lot of these words are very intentional, where she had to show that she could earn an income, that she could somehow survive without my father. And there's so much more could go in there. This poem is riddled with words, very intentional to describe my father's struggle with food and how that went beyond it. Anyways, if you have any questions about the poem, let me know. Again, this is a double triolet, and thank you so much for watching.